I'm Courtney Overstreet, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about the right to die. To start it off, the right to die is also known as the right to die with dignity, and it is when you pass these certain steps to get a doctor or physician to give you medicine or injections to die with dignity, to commit. When I say it's pretty much to commit suicide, but peacefully. um, or it's also known as euthanasia. And yeah, so one of the biggest activists for this was Brittany Maynard. She was 29 years old when she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. She was terminally ill, and this is just, I think, 4 months after she was diagnosed with the brain tumor, and just from her regular diet and all the meds she was taking, she gained, I think it was 35 pounds, and she was in a lot of pain. She was having epileptic seizures. After one of them, she got back and she recognized her husband, but she didn't know what his name was, and she just felt like she was losing it. So she went through the steps to get the die with dignity. She passed them, and I think it was on November 1st, like a few days before her birthday, she decided to take the medicine that the doctor gave her with her mom and her husband in the room with her, and she passed peacefully. And this is a short video of Brittany Maynard, a 4-minute video.
So if November 2nd comes along and I've passed, I hope my family is still proud of me and the choices I made. And if November 2nd comes along and I'm still alive, I know that we'll just still be moving forward as a family, like out of love for each other, and that decision will come later. When people criticize me for not like waiting longer, or whatever they've decided is best for me, it hurts because really I risk it every day that I wake up, and I do it because I still feel good enough, and I still have enough joy, and I still laugh and smile with my family and friends enough that it doesn't seem like the right time right now, but it will come because I feel myself getting sicker. It's happening each week. I still get out and do what I can. I walk with my husband, I walk with my family and my dogs, and things like that bring me the greatest feelings of health that I have these days. But really, it's been just since January 1st, since my diagnosis, it's like health-wise things keep just getting worse. But I guess that's what happens when you're terminally ill, is you get sicker and sicker.
It sounds so cliche, we take things one day at a time, but that's the only way to get through this. You take away all of the material stuff, all the nonsense that we all seem to latch onto as a society, and you realize that those moments are really what matter.
So the worst thing that could happen to me is that I wait too long because I'm trying to seize each day, but that I somehow have my autonomy taken away from me by my disease because of the nature of my cancer. To really talk to you about the most terrifying aspects. Most recently, my most terrifying set of seizures was about a week or so ago. I had 2 in a day, which is unusual. And I remember looking at my husband's face at one point and thinking, I know this is my husband, but I can't say his name. And ended up going to the hospital for that one. It's a weird feeling to wake up every day and be in my body because it feels so different than it did just a year ago. To be perfectly candid, in the last 3 months, I've gained over 25 pounds and over nothing I've put in my mouth except for prescription medications. I don't like being photographed, I don't like being filmed, and I don't like spending a lot of time looking in the mirror. And I'm not full of self-hate or loathing. It's just that my body has changed so quickly. You really kind of stop recognizing yourself in a way, and that's very personal. And I think sometimes people look at me and they think, well, you don't look as sick as you say that you are. Which hurts to hear because when I'm having a seizure and I can't speak afterwards, I certainly feel as sick as I am.
It's not my job to tell her how to live, and it's not my job to tell her how to die. It's my job to love her through it.
So I was a little bit off just by a day, but that's when she decided to end her life. And so one of the reasons she moved to Oregon is because it was one of the only states to have it at the time that she decided to die with dignity. It was actually the first state to legalize it, and then also Washington, Montana, New Mexico, and Vermont have also made it legal for the right to die with dignity. So before I did all my research and started looking into all this for the right to die, I was actually I wasn't for it at all. I was actually pretty against it. And then going through all this, it actually completely changed my mind, and I 100% believe it and vouch for it. So like, I feel like if you truly don't feel like you can get through a day without feeling tremendous amount of pain, or just you don't feel like you're in control, just actually not having control of your day and how you feel like you're gonna die is a big problem for some people, and that's why they like to have the option to have the control to choose when they leave, and that's a big reason for people that are dying to get this. Also, one of the reasons that euthanasia or the right to die has a bad name is because of a man named Jack Kevorkian. He's also known as Dr. Death. He was convicted of second-degree murder for voluntary euthanasia. He admitted to doing this to, I believe it was 130 patients, and he only got a second degree because, well, I don't actually know why, but I think it's because he was still kind of doing the right thing and the people agreed to doing it, but it was still illegal at the time he was doing it in the places that he did, in the place that he did it. And also, a lot of people see him as a killer or villain, but also people who are for this see him as a hero and an activist for the movement, or the right to die debate. So, what do you guys think? Well, what is your guys' stance on the right to die? Did I help you change your mind, or did Brittany help you change your mind? And thank you.